This is live breaking news, Nez Nation. The FBI director, Kash Patel, just posted this on X late Monday evening, late last night, saying the FBI has located documents which detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election, including allegations of interference by none other than the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. He says, I have immediately declassified the material and turned the documents over to the chairman, Grassley, for further review. I'm going to break this down and tell you, because he attached an accompanying article. I'm going to go through that step by step so we can figure out what's going on. It's not like any of this is a surprise to you or me. We all knew 2020 was funky. When I went to bed on election night in 2020, where Trump was ahead in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all the swing states that he won in 2024 because they kept an eye on it, I thought it was over. I was really confident that Trump was going to win re-election in 2020. I went to bed, fine. It was going late into the evening. They were still counting. And then I wake up and my wife actually woke me up saying, you might not want to turn on the TV today. And I knew exactly what she meant, and I couldn't believe it. I turn on the TV, and there's cackling fake Kamala calling Joe and saying, you did it, Joe. You're president. Oh, it's awful. Like one of the darkest moments in American history. This is the second biggest cover-up. Besides covering up vegetable in chief Biden's mental cognitive collapse over the last 4 years, and we have no idea who was running the country. We had no idea who was behind the auto pen. This is the second biggest travesty, scar in American history ever, of all time. And that is, there's no way in a billion years you could ever convince me that Joe Biden got 81 million votes in 2020. Impossible. 20 million, almost 20 million more than the messiah of the party, Obama. Not in a million years. So let's check this out and see exactly what's going on here. This doesn't surprise me any bit. And if there's any truth to these alarming allegations coming from the director of the FBI, doesn't it make sense that President Xi would have helped Biden and done everything he can for Biden to win based on everything that Trump's doing with the tariffs in China? Doesn't it all make sense that he's sticking it to China just like he did in his first term? And this is exactly what they wanted to avoid. FBI Director Kash Patel turned over to Congress an intelligence report raising concerns that China had, here's specifics, mass-produced fake U.S. driver's licenses to carry out a scheme to hijack the 2020 election with fake mail-in ballots for Joe Biden. Can you believe this? The newly declassified intelligence reports from August 2020 weren't corroborated or fully investigated, and instead were recalled from intelligence agencies at about the time that then FBI Director Chris Wray testified there were no known plots of foreign interference ahead of the 2020 election in which Biden defeated Trump, officials told Just the News. The due documents were turned over to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, who had first raised concerns to the Bureau that the intelligence hadn't been fully vetted and instead was just dismissed, just like we were all dismissed. We were all conspiracy theorists. We were all right-wing nut jobs, even though I'm not even right or left. I'm, if anything, if I had to define myself, I'm a constitutional centrist. I love America. I love the Constitution. I love common sense. I don't even think Trump is right or left. He's revolutionized the political landscape. I'm of the party of common sense. Let's get America back to the America I grew up in, the America that made sense to you and me. So he was dismissed, even though there was evidence of the fake licenses. Thanks to the oversight work and partnership of Chairman Grassley, the FBI continues to provide unprecedented transparency at the People's Bureau. This is what Kash Patel said in a statement to Just the News. Quote, to that end, we have located documents Chairman Grassley requested, which detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election. Specifically, this is where it gets juicy. These include allegations of plans from the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, to manufacture fake driver's licenses and ship them into the United States for the purpose of facilitating fraudulent, you guessed it, mail-in ballots. I mean, is anybody surprised? This is why Trump wants voter ID. This is why we should have same-day registration, same-day voting. In person, same-day voter ID. We'd never have to worry about election integrity. We can get rid of that ridiculous term, election integrity, for all time. It would be perfect. Wow. Fraudulent mail-in ballots. Big shocker there. Allegations which, while substantiated, were abruptly recalled and never disclosed to the public, Patel said. Quote, in accordance with Chairman Grassley's request for documents, I have immediately declassified the material and turned the document over to the chairman for further review. Officials who have seen the documents told Just the News the FBI had a relatively new confidential source who provided information in summer 2020 that the Chinese government was manufacturing and exporting fake U.S. driver's licenses as part of a plot to create voter identities for Chinese residents living in the United States so they could vote with fake mail-in ballots. Wow. The intelligence source claimed the plot was specifically designed to benefit Biden, officials said. They also said the intelligence report was recalled within a few weeks, and the allegations never fully investigated, on the grounds that the source needed to be re-interviewed. No, that's not the truth. The source didn't need to be re-interviewed. The source needed to align with the narrative. But in fact, another agency, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, who is under assault by radical anti-American criminal leftists, had intercepted nearly 20,000 fake licenses. Around the time the intelligence came in, a possible corroboration of the report, officials said. Is anybody surprised by this? This just makes sense on so many different fronts. The mail-in ballots, which we knew there was something funky going on there. The fact that Democrats are so opposed to voter ID, which makes no sense. They let in 20 million people illegally into our country, dropping off. Remember, I did a video on this a year ago, dropping off pamphlets. Hey, come to Arizona, come to New Mexico. You'll be offered this accelerated citizenship. Become a citizen. You don't have to do anything. Just make sure you vote Democrat. They thought we were crazy. They said we were conspiracy theorists. Never mind the numbers that are just absolutely insane. Never mind the 81 million. Never mind the fact that Trump got the same, if not, very close, the same amount of votes that he got in 2020 that he did in 2024. Never mind the fact that Kamala Harris didn't win a single state that required voter ID. Is that just a coincidence? I'm sharing this with you because this is validation for all of us. This is the director of the FBI who is, and by the way, stick around because once I understand and get a hold of that declassified document, and if I know this Department of Justice, they will allot it to the public. You're going to hear it first from me here first. I'm going to tell you all about it, and I'm going to break it all down. And I want to see some arrests. I want to see some people in handcuffs. I want to see some people finally be held accountable for really criminalizing, abusing their position of power to fraud the American taxpayer, the American voter, the American citizen, and defraud the Constitution of the United States of America. I want to see some arrests. So Chairman Grassley is going to review this, but this is validation. This is validation for you. It's validation for me. It's validation for all of us who woke up on that fateful morning and we turned on our TVs in 2020 on November 6th, and we saw that cackling hyena, DEI, mook, donkey-minded imbecile, Kamala, on the phone, congratulating the vegetable in chief that he just won the presidency, because those have been 2020 to January 2025 have been the darkest, most abysmal years in American history. I mean, it was literally, the agenda was America last. We now have a president where the agenda is America first. And I want to also say this, if you made it this far, I always like to kind of leave you with a bonus and kind of talk to you. I always want to give you something a little extra. So I want to hear your thoughts on this, Kash Patel, and stay tuned. I will have everything for you once this document gets declassified. There's a lot of chatter everywhere, especially from so-called, whatever, conservative influencers or thought leaders or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Trump this, Trump that in regards to Iran and Israel. He posted on Truth Social recently saying Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Now you got people like Tucker and Candace Owens and this guy Dave Smith, who I don't really even know that much about him, to be honest, saying he should be impeached and he's becoming a neocon and this is not what we voted for. There's a lot of chatter, and I want to read this statement that I made on X. This is what I think of this situation. They say that he's revoking his promises made during the campaign and acting in very neoconish ways. Here's what I know. I trust my president, first of all. I trust the person that I voted for. I think if anybody can presume prematurely that they know what's happening behind the scenes, I think that's just highly immature and unprofessional. Here's what I know, okay? The Islamic Republic has done nothing for the Iranian people but rule with tyrannical, Stone Age laws and strict policies sowing massive hate for the West and propagandizing the destruction of Western allies such as the U.S. and Israel. They rule by fear and hate. The Iranian people have been fed up with them for decades. The 2008 Green Revolution was the first time in a long time where there was an actual movement, if you will, to topple this awful regime. The Iranian people have been sick and tired of these clerics for decades. And this was an opportunity for the people, by the people. But you know what? Obama was a gigantic fraud, hypocrite, and pussy, and didn't move a toenail to help. You know what he did do, though? He gave billions of dollars to Iran, which is very, very strange. I don't think anyone is for war. I don't think Trump is for war. It's ugly and the wrong people lose all the time. But I think it's very naive and premature to presume Trump is the one at fault here. Stop panicking, you bunch of panicans. And I can say this as well. If this is a sort of like what Tucker's saying, this is just a regime change, period. They're just trying to get rid of this regime. That could be true. I don't know. I don't think Tucker knows. I don't think anybody knows. But I will say this. This regime has done nothing but wreak havoc across a very precious region called the Middle East for 46 years. That's just a fact. Before this regime, when the Shah of Iran was there, you had prosperity like we've never seen. You had great relations between Iran and the U.S. like we've never seen. You had flourishing amongst the Iranian people. You had Americans. Tourism was very high. People used to move. Americans lived in Iran, worked in Iran, traveled to Iran, took their families to Iran. It was an amazing place. It was the jewel of the Middle East and rich with resources like oil and other things. Not just oil, a ton of other things, agriculture, etc. And so I think these panicans are just jumping the gun, and I trust my president. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you of the opinion that maybe Trump is acting a little too much like a neocon right now and advocating for war, and maybe Bibi Netanyahu is playing Trump just slightly? Or do you think that you trust Trump like I do? And I don't think anything of the sort. And I trust him wholly and completely. And we have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. And I think he's done everything he could to tell these guys, hey, you can't have a nuclear weapon. You got to come to the table. And they haven't done that. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below on this and the Kash Patel story. Holy mackerel, that is huge. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, follow, tap that like button, because I'm going to keep you posted. Your boy Nez has got you covered. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.